So you may be sitting home asking if you're watching the wrong video or what is going on with your sound. Note that was not a mistake. Today we are playing multiplication wrestling. So I wanted to start us off with some high energy music to get us ready for the wrestling. Now, multiplication wrestling is really just going to be another representation of the partial products method that you have been practicing. But today we're going to show it in a little different form. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to always do a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. And you'll pick the numbers randomly and use them to make the biggest product. Then we'll write the numbers out in expanded form. And then we're going to multiply the partial products and use this technique to make sure we get all the partial products, which is called FOIL, or first, outside, inside, last. Let's look at an example together. So I am just going to pick 4 random numbers. I'll pick 2, 9, 8, and 1. Okay? And so now I've done step 1, that I have my 4 random numbers. Well, I've done the first part. Now I need to use them to make the biggest product possible. So if I want the biggest product possible, I want to put the biggest numbers in my tens place. So first, I might make this one a 9 and this one an 8, right? That's going to give me biggest chance because if I'm multiplying by 9 in the tens place, that's way better multiplying by 90 than just multiplying by 2, because the goal to win multiplication wrestling is you want to get the biggest product. So then you can decide whether you want 92 or 81. Those are going to be pretty close, so I might do 2 and 1. I'd actually have to test that out to see if 91 times 82 would give me a bigger product. I'm not quite sure. But so yeah, you'd have to play around with which place value goes in next to really try to get the biggest product possible. But then we're on to step 2, which is we're going to expand these numbers out. So instead of just 92, I'm going to think of that as 90 plus 2. Instead of just 81, I'm going to think of that as 80 plus 1. Now, there's a great method, the FOIL method, to ensure that you multiply each part and get all the partial products. And again, FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. And it looks like this. So first means I take the first number from each of my parentheses. So my first product would be 90 times 80. And I know 9 times 8 is 72. And then I want 2 zeros. 2 zeros my factor, so 2 zeros in my product. That's a big product already, 7,200. Whoa. Then I'm ready to do the outside. So that means I take the 2 numbers on the outside. So I'll do 90 times 1. That's easy enough to do, just get 90. And notice I'm lining up my digits here because I know eventually I'm going to have to add my partial products. Now we move to the inside numbers. So inside, they're tucked in here, are 2 and 80. So I do 2 times 80, just an extended fact. 2 times 8 is 16, 1 0 in my factor, 1 0 in my product, 160. And finally, last means I take the last number in each team, if you will. And that means I'll just do 2 times 1. That's going to be small 1. Oops, and see, even when I was writing down 160 up here, I forgot to line it up. So let me go back and do that. Also, I don't like the green because it's hard to see. What if we did it in brown? 160. Great. And now I can add up all my partial products. I carry the 1, 3, 7,451 as my final product. So that's going to be pretty tough to compete with because it is a big product. So basically, we're thinking of these expanded forms as our teams, right? And they each have to face off against each other. That's why it's called multiplication wrestling. The 90 had to wrestle with the 80, and the 90 had to wrestle with the 1, and then the 2 had to wrestle with the 80, and then the 2 had to wrestle with the 1. So that's just another way of looking at essentially the partial products method. Because if we had done this out as a 2 by 2 partial product, these would be the 4 partial products that we got. Let's try another one. So this time I'll give you the numbers 6, 4, 1, 7. Okay, so if we want to make a largest product, which numbers are going to be our tens place? You got it. I want to use 7 and I want to use 6. And maybe we'll do 71 or 71 times 64. Okay, so now that you have your numbers formed, I want you to pause the video, try expanding them out into the teams, and then use FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. Sing it with me. First, outside, inside, last, so that each number faces off against each other number. Add your partial products and see what you get for 71 times 64. Play back when you're ready to see the answer. Okay, so in this multiplication wrestling match, you should have gotten your final answer as 4,544. If you agree, give a woohoo. And if we look, the 70 had to match up against the 60, the first. Then the 70 had to match up against the 4, outside. Then the 1 had to match up against the 60, inside. And the 1 had to match up against the 4, last. And we found all of those partial products and then added them up. Since you are such fabulous mathematicians, I'm just going to tell you one more thing about multiplication wrestling. It also shows the distributive property of multiplication. Say that with me. The distributive property of multiplication. And again, the reason is that's our fancy math vocabulary to indicate that when you're multiplying these numbers, you can just distribute the parts, right? Like 70 had to be multiplied by 60, got distributed to the 60, had to be multiplied by the 4. And we see that here. Same with the 1, it had to be multiplied by the 60 and by the 4. So today, you'll do some problems with extended facts, but as a bonus, if you would like to play multiplication wrestling with someone at home, I'll put these rules for you in Seesaw. So it says roll your 4 numbers, but you probably don't have a dice at home with the digits 1 through 9 on it. So if you didn't, you could just make cards that have, see, kind of like these ones down here, make cards that have the digits 1 through 9. I would suggest making 2 of each digit, shuffle them up, and just have whoever you're playing against, you each draw 4 cards, right? And that's even what it says in this example down here. Then you create your 2 wrestling teams by writing your numbers in expanded form. Oh, I forgot, of course, the most important step. Make your 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication to find the largest product. Make your teams, multiply using the FOIL method, or, also known as the distributive property and also known as finding the partial products. And then the player with the larger product wins the round and receives a point, and you can play as many rounds as you like until your heart's content. So I'll put these directions for you if you would like them. And good luck, competitors, wrestlers, distributive property users, and mathematicians. Have fun.